Hello, welcome to Pub Football. Miles and Jimmy here, talking about the Premier League and drinking a few beers while we do it. Big weekend of Premier League action. A couple of very, very tasty fixtures to kick off the weekend. Saturday at 12:30, Leicester host Chelsea at the King Power, third versus fourth. At 3 o'clock, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, huge at the bottom of the table. Palace, Sheffield United, European race.
Yeah.
Liverpool host Southampton at 3 o'clock. Liverpool are playing on a Saturday. Newcastle, Norwich. Watford hosting Everton at Vicarage Road. West Ham against Brighton, a good relegation battle game as well. And at 5:30, Manchester United host Wolves, again European race fixture. On Sunday, 2 o'clock, Burnley, Arsenal at Turf Moor, and then Tottenham, Manchester City at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at 4:30 on Sunday. Starting with Leicester, Chelsea, this is huge.
It's a huge game, yeah.
Chelsea have been stumbling, but they've been better on the road than they have been at home, so that will go in their favour.
Yeah, and obviously Leicester coming off the back of cruelly going out in the semi-final last minute.
Yeah.
That's
Not
hard
good
to
enough,
take,
though.
isn't it? No, they were terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you say, Chelsea miles better away from home. I expect. It's a weird one, isn't it? It's going to be tight. It's going to be really tight. It's going to come down to. I think it might be a mistake.
Chelsea linked with a move to Dries Mertens. I would have said that's the one position they don't need to sign a player in.
No, I can imagine him going to Arsenal. Dries Mertens, he's one of those players.
It just doesn't need to play for Chelsea. Have the players in those positions. They've got, even their backup Pedro and Willian. They've got Mount's been playing there. Hudson-Odoi's there. Loftus-Cheek's coming back who can play up there as well.
I don't think Chelsea needs to buy anyone. I think they're all right. Yeah, that's a weird one.
That is a very weird one. A left back. They could use a left back.
Yeah, and obviously Leicester just needs to pick it up. It gets to the point of the season where you go, are they going to completely fold? I
don't think they will. I think they'll be fine. And Ndidi's coming back from injury. That will help massively.
Yeah.
Especially in a game like Chelsea. He will be one of the players who's tasked with nullifying Mason Mount or whoever else they play in that number 10
role. That would be the
role.
one area as a Leicester fan I think we probably need someone better than Amate in there, just in case. Just someone. I know Chadri's decent as well, but maybe someone with a bit more experience in there.
Although Dennis Pratt's pass against Brentford was
beautiful,
one of the most delightful things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Ever. Leicester will be absolutely fine. What's your score prediction for this, actually? It's a tough one to call. Leicester, when they played at Stamford Bridge, played really well and were unlucky not to win.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's going to be a draw again. I think it's going to be a high-scoring draw because I can see it being quite open. 2-2.
I'm going to go 2-1 Leicester. I've just got a feeling. And I think it'll be a good opportunity.
They need to as well. It's a big game.
Good opportunity for some other teams. Bournemouth, Aston Villa at 3. This, quite simply, is massive. Bournemouth are in the relegation zone on goal difference. We were going to do a special on what's wrong with Bournemouth.
We might be doing that in a couple of weeks. But then they won.
We might still do it. It's in the bank.
Yeah,
it's in the bank. We can still do it. Aston Villa are just outside the relegation zone. Just got into the League Cup final. They'll have some confidence. Their squad's still very thin, though. But for Bournemouth, and I want to talk about Dominic Solanke again, we have a few times, because we watched him against Arsenal in the FA
watched
Cup.
the game on Monday night and it was absolutely awful.
He doesn't move.
No.
That's
no.
why he jogs around the pitch. He's never going to score, because he doesn't get chances, because he doesn't put himself in the right position.
He seems to be effective in the areas a striker's not effective
He's
in.
not even effective. He drops in and he plays a 5-yard pass.
That's what I'm saying. He'll do things where you think, you shouldn't be doing that. Why are you there?
Yeah.
You need to be in the box, you need to be kind of lurking, making the runs.
And the ball will go out to the wing and he won't try and get in the box.
And there's a prime time thing on Monday where he made a run and stopped.
Yeah.
And we both went, why he stopped? That's a great run.
And he didn't even run properly, he just jogged to the back, next to the defender and then hit. Yeah. That's what he does. And that's why they're not scoring and that's why they're not winning games.
Agreed. And I think it's a confidence thing. You also think he's just rubbish.
I think he's just not very good. I think that he's a player who did really well in youth football because if you look at him, you can tell he looks older than his age.
Yeah.
I have a feeling he developed quite early.
Yeah.
He was maybe the biggest, the strongest and the quickest
for a
few years. So scored all the goals without having to try.
Yeah.
He's got to men's football, all of a sudden he's not very quick. He's not very strong.
Yeah.
And he's not very big either. He's tall, but he's not stocky, so he's not strong. He's not quick at all. And he has to actually be a good player now. He's just jogging. I think he's going to go I get the
feeling his form is affecting everyone else as well because he's playing so poorly. Callum Wilson's done nothing.
Do you remember Aston Villa when Wayne Rooney came through at Everton, they had some brothers that come through, Luke and Stephen Moore.
More stuff, yeah, agreed.
Yeah, so Luke Moore bounced in and out of the Premier League, but never really did it in the Premier League. A lot of injury problems. Stephen Moore ended up in non-league football, and they were both youth superstars.
Yeah.
I can see Dominic Solanke being in League One in 3 years.
Yeah, he needs to go somewhere where he's going to score
He needs
goals
to go to the
regularly.
Championship.
Agreed. If he can go to a mid to lower table team,
In the
have an
Championship,
absolute blinder, he would be great. But
I don't
can't
think
see
he will.
that.
I think he's a worse footballer than Patrick Bamford.
And for me, it's Eddie Howe kind of digging his heels in, thinking this was a really good signing. It's not been a good signing.
Sam Surridge was far better than him when he
He
came
was,
on.
and
He made runs and he scored, but
Yeah.
he just made the run.
Yeah.
The ball's out of the right back. He was running off the shoulder. He was trying to get there. Dominic Solanke was jogging.
And Sam Surridge is a classic Championship player as
Sam
well.
Surridge was on for 10 minutes, had 2 chances, scored and missed. Dominic Solanke was on for 80, had
Did nothing.
no chances.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
that's the problem. Alan Shearer always said, missing chances is one thing as a striker. At least you're getting them. It's when you're not getting the chances that there's the real problem, because that means that that's your overall performance. It's not just you're having a bad day or you're having a bad run.
Yeah, agreed.
You're worried when you're not getting chances. Dominic Solanke doesn't get chances because he's not good enough, because he doesn't put himself in the right positions.
Bournemouth just aren't good enough going forward at the moment.
No.
They did nothing on Monday night. Nothing.
Callum Wilson had to come on.
Yeah.
But again, it's hard because again he's having to play around Solanke, because Solanke can't play off the side.
No, and he's starved the service because no offence to Ryan Fraser, he's been absolutely terrible.
Yeah,
this
Lewis
season.
Cook was bad as well.
Harry Wilson did bits and pieces like he does, but he's not effective enough. But Villa, fair play to Villa.
Looking very good. They've
Yes.
always got the Jack Grealish X Factor. Did you see when someone ruffled his hair and he gave him the death stare in the post-match interview?
He's brilliant.
Don't touch his hair. I think this is going to be an Aston Villa win. I think away win, and I think it's going to be comfortable. I think it's going to be 2-0. And Grealish should do something.
I'm going to go for a gritty 1-0 win, home win.
Who? Like how?
I've just got a feeling Bournemouth are going to do enough to stay up this year, and I don't know why, but I want Eddie Howe to do well, but also wouldn't mind him.
If Bournemouth
failing.
stay up right now, it's 2 of West Ham, Villa, and Brighton that go down. Then I know Watford are there or thereabouts.
Yeah, we'll obviously come on to West Ham.
Yeah.
We're just in dire straits. But yeah,
A team that you thought might go down, but definitely aren't, is Crystal Palace. They're hosting Sheffield United at Sellers Park. I know they're only 7 points clear, but for me, they're 7 points clear. And 7 points clear at this stage in the season is not safe. The thing about this Premier League season is 7 points clear puts them in 11th or 9th.
Yeah.
There are too many teams between them and the relegation zone for them to fall all the way in. They're all of those teams between them and the relegation zone. They're on the same amount of points as
I
Arsenal.
completely agree.
I'm not going to jump them.
We'll see.
They're not going to go on the runs. They're not going to gain enough points to get past Palace.
This is a fascinating game because it's 2 teams who can't take the initiative. And it's going to be quite funny to see who...
Oh, Sheffield United take the initiative.
I don't think they will, though.
I think they will. I think they absolutely battered Spurs when they played them. They battered Arsenal.
Palace
they do
definitely
take
don't.
initiative.
And Palace are going to be on the back foot for the majority of the game and probably score a goal somewhere. And you go, it's 1-0 win.
It'd be interesting to see if we see Sheffield United's new signing, Wonder Kid.
Sander Berg.
Wonder
God, I
Kid.
buy him every year on Football Manager. He's brilliant.
I've heard he's a wonder kid. They bought him from Genk.
Norwegian. Yeah, very good.
Is apparently the best player that Genk have produced for a long time. And this is a club that produced Kevin De Bruyne.
My biggest concern with this entire thing is why he's gone to Sheffield United.
Because
if
he's been promised to go into the first team of Sheffield United, whereas at the other clubs he was more of a prospect. And if he gets on the bench and he starts to play and he plays well in this midfield, maybe he thinks that this midfield suits his style, the way they're playing, because they are quite offensive. They are. We keep forgetting Sheffield United are not digging their heels in and gritting out results. They've got a very organised system, but it's actually a system where they are on the front foot a lot of the time. They batter a lot of teams.
Yeah, my biggest concern is having played Football Manager for many years now. He is an absolute diamond, and my concern is there must have been another team you must have gone, yeah, I might give it a go. But
I think they were.
I think that's a massive coup for Sheffield United.
I think Sheffield United have beaten
and it
out a lot of top
proves
teams.
where they are.
Yeah.
And the fact he wants to go there because he believes in the philosophy, the manager, everything behind it. I think it's great.
And he could see it as a stepping stone.
Oh, 100. He will not be there in 2 years' time. He'll be at Spurs, he'll be at Arsenal.
He might have thought I
dominating.
could go to Spurs, Arsenal now, and then have to wait in their reserves and maybe not get the game time.
Because he was linked for United, and I'm delighted he's not gone there because he wouldn't have played.
And I just think that it's more players, more younger players need to be clever like this.
Yeah.
You talk about like even Jack Clark, who's come to Spurs, went back to Leeds on loan, come back to Spurs, and gone out to QPR because he wasn't getting a game.
Yeah.
And you've got before that like Nkudi, Clinton, and G. You look at other clubs; they bring in these young players who are going to be superstars one day, and they never reach their potential because they don't play any football.
Agreed. 100%.
I think it's a clever thing to do. I think it's a really clever thing to do. As for Palace, they've missed out on their fullback signings. It looks like they've missed out on Kyle Walker-Peters.
That's a big loss because I think he's a very good player.
Yeah,
Southampton's game.
He's looked up and down for Spurs this season.
He'd be great.
They were linked with Yannick Carrasco, which would have been incredible for them.
Yes,
but that's gone a bit quiet. But because of his wage demands potentially. But the thing is, he's in China. They're putting the salary cap on. He won't be able to keep the wages he's on. He's gonna have to take a wage cut.
Coronavirus is coming for him as well.
And and he's not allowed to travel to England at the moment because of the coronavirus, which we shouldn't be joking about, even though it's ruining my favourite beer. They've missed out on that. They have been linked today with Jared Bowen, which I think would be a very good shout because he's done really well at Hull.
I think Jared Bowen is better than that. I really
do. But teams aren't coming in for him.
Yeah, agreed. I heard it on the radio today where, again, they were kind of baffled with the fact he had an absolute blind against Chelsea last weekend. He was brilliant. Yeah. Why are big teams not going? Do you know what?
But again, go to Palace, spend the next 6 months at Palace, and then you could get a move in the summer. I think a great move.
I'll be there for 18 months.
He'll start as well.
Absolutely dominate.
Yeah, exactly.
You're playing for a Spurs.
All right, Crystal Palace, Sheffield United score
1-0 home win.
I'm going 1-0 away win. I think Sheffield United will get the job done. I know when I do the Crystal Palace fan show on Love Sport, don't tell them because I predicted it the other way potentially. If I did do it,
it'll be 1-0 either way. It's going to be tight.
Liverpool, Southampton. This is a big game for a team that are on a good run. And that's not Liverpool. Because Liverpool just beat West Ham in the week. Mo Salah and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain with the goals. They are now 19 points clear. They have got 70 points in the Premier League before February.
It's done. It's just
what's the lowest Premier League winning total? It's in the 70s, isn't it? It's like 78 points.
I wouldn't be surprised, but God, they are just so far.
Isn't it like 78, like the lowest winning margin?
They could literally win the league by sort of the back end of March.
Yeah, they could. I think they're going to have won the league by April. They're 19 points clear.
And it was one
with
of those
14, 15 games left.
It's one of those results last night where I think Liverpool were pleased to win and West Ham were pleased to keep it down to 2.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a dodgy one.
Don't like that Jurgen Klopp's not going to the FA Cup replay against
No,
Shrewsbury.
you mentioned that.
It really annoys me because I look at Jurgen Klopp and I just think, you know what? Yes, it's in that winter break, which this is the last set of fixtures before the winter break, by the way. Which the winter break doesn't mean there's no football. There's a staggered schedule, so there's 5 games each weekend.
Yeah.
All on telly, I think, which is great.
Good.
But I think get the job done first time round. It's your own fault that you didn't. So tough. And actually, here's a fact, and I need to double check this for the accuracy, but someone told me Liverpool have been complaining about fixture congestion. Portsmouth have played more games than them this season.
Yeah.
In their 46-game league season, they're in the FA Cup. They did. I think they got through the first round or so of the League Cup. They've got the Checkered Trade Trophy, of course.
Played more games than they have.
Yeah, exactly. And just because they had this Club World Cup, they're moaning off. Well, sorry. You know, I know it's Shrewsbury, but you've got to get past them. You can't send I hope that they send the U team, and I hope they get knocked out.
I'm very intrigued by this game because Southampton are the informed side in the league.
The sign Kyle Walker-Peters.
I think that's a great signing. Obviously, Cedric Suarez is going to Arsenal.
Yeah,
I think he's going to go, which I think is a great signing for Arsenal. But we'll come on to that.
So it'll be Walker-Peters and Jan Valery fighting for that right back.
I quite like Valery, and I think Walker-Peters is a good enough person to step in.
It's only on loan for 6 months.
Yeah, but that's fine. He'll improve his ability and hopefully show what he can do.
So you're intrigued. Do you think this is the game Liverpool slip up in?
It'll be one where you look at it and go, it's a banker. Absolute banker. 4-5-0. Gonna absolutely doss it. And they'll lose 1-0.
No. 3-1 Liverpool. I think Danny Ings will go to Anfield.
They aren't going to go unbeaten. I'm going to keep saying this till we get to the last game and they're at home against
the only game they might lose to Man City. They're going on.
I think they might lose away at Arsenal. And it would be great if they did. I don't think they're going to lose, but I think they're going to draw. And I think Danny Ings is going to do something, and I hope he does.
3-1. I said he's going to do something. 3-1. Okay, Newcastle, Norwich. Newcastle have just confirmed Danny Rose on loan from Spurs.
Great signing.
Well,
love it.
Jetro Williams went off injured, didn't he, in the last game?
He's absolutely buggered.
Yeah.
I was going to say something else
there. We go, yeah. He's absolutely buggered. Is the technical term that the medical staff use.
Yeah.
Danny Rose is a good signing as a wing-back at Newcastle's level. Interesting that he sort of became a proper Premier League player in a loan spell at Sunderland.
He did, and he, so by all accounts, he still actually keeps account of what Sunderland are doing on the pitch as well.
Which doesn't really do that anymore.
Yeah, I've heard he's actually been to games recently.
Yeah, well, maybe he was actually scouting for houses in the northeast and thought he'd go while he was
Yeah,
there.
fair play to him. I know he's a northern bloke, so fair play
He's
to him.
from Yorkshire, from Leeds.
Yeah.
Good signing for left back. He's not been doing it at Spurs this year. He's not been good enough for Spurs as in a back four. In a back five, some of his frailties will be covered up. And he's a great wing back. He was a great wing back for Tottenham for a long time. I really, really have liked Danny Rose, but it was time to go, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think it's Newcastle's gain. I think he had an absolute blinder, and he wouldn't be it'd be an outside chance for England if he gets on the roll.
Oh yeah, well England are struggling for
Chilwell and Brandon Williams, I think.
I feel like he only has to play because I'm not sure Gareth Southgate will pull the trigger on Brandon Williams. I think he should, but I'm not sure he will.
Well, yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if Danny Rose keeps his spot for a bit of experience in that squad. Wouldn't surprise me. Bit of experience.
Gets four months of game time in you, half chance.
Yeah, because I think it seems that it's quite hard to lose your spot in Gareth Southgate's squad.
Yeah.
So it'll be very interesting, although I think Brandon Williams deserves it. Norwich must win again. They look down, but every game's a must win for Norwich now.
I think we've got to spot with Norwich where we just great football. They're just not getting enough points.
I'm surprised no one's come in for Cantwell and Pookie in this window.
Who's it? I can't even say it. Buendia?
Buendia, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's great. He's the one in the summer.
Yeah.
I could see him at Leicester if they lose Maddison.
Yeah,
that's where I'm looking at him going. I think he'd be great. I think
Cantwell's more likely to get that move.
But yeah, he's the one, and Norwich is so frustrated. They're such a lovely team to watch, but they're just not going to get enough points.
I said this at the start of the season. After the first half against Liverpool, I said they're not good enough to pass out like the way they are. They're not good enough to do this. They're going to get stuffed this season. You said they wouldn't, and it looked like they were proving me wrong at the start of the season.
Stuffed though.
They haven't been stuffed, but they've not been good enough. So they play this expansive football, which leaves gaps for teams to score in, and they're not good enough to score themselves a lot of the time.
And that's the thing. It's mistake prone, isn't it? If you keep trying to play out from the back, if you don't have to play it, Klosterman's not good enough to play out from the back. Hanley's awful.
Hanley's terrible.
I love Max Aarons. I think he'd be great in the future, but at the moment it's probably a bit too big of a step at the moment.
Yeah, and Lewis and Aarons are both linked with moves. I wouldn't be surprised to see them on either side of Tottenham.
Oh, Max Aarons, it will be brilliant for Spurs, brilliant for Arsenal, brilliant for anyone in sort of the...
Anyway, let's move through this. Score, please. Newcastle will do it.
Yeah, home win. They need to win. They need to win this game. 2-0.
1-0. I'm going to say 1-0. They'll squeak it. Watford-Everton. This is a big game for Watford after losing to Aston Villa somewhat inexplicably after going on such a good run.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have lost to Aston Villa. Then they lost to Tranmere in the FA Cup. This is the one they need to win, or they could find themselves spiralling a bit. Because they were working hard, they were getting the confidence up. They're looking good, don't get me wrong.
They'll be fun.
They should be, but these are the games where if they lose them at home at Vicarage Road, that they could fall back into the old form.
Yeah, I think there's a point where you go, we're doing really well, and you suddenly go, oh my god, we're still only like 4 points ahead, and they're
level. They're level. They're in the relegation
zone. The
problem
is, you look at how great their form's been. You go,
they're in 19th.
Yeah, which is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And should we give a shout out to Ben Foster's save?
Ben Foster's save in training.
Absolutely wonderful.
If only he'd done that on the weekend.
I think I've watched that 100 times.
Yeah. Just incredible.
Just incredible.
He is a very good goalkeeper. To be fair, he's England's best goalkeeper, but he's retired from England.
There is
but
a thing
again,
of going...
we shouldn't be clamouring to have him back.
But you look at it, and he could have been the number one for sort of the last 5 years. He's been brilliant.
Absolutely.
Miles better.
Absolutely agree. Everton.
Richarlison, would you have accepted that offer? 85 million for your best player.
There's a couple of reasons why potentially not. It's come out of nowhere 2 days before the end of the window, so I am assuming, because it's a sort of position they have quite a few players in, that Everton haven't been looking for alternatives. They haven't been scouting. They haven't been on the market for another option. I would also look at saying, if they're willing to pay 85 million now, and he plays as well as he does through till the summer, could you get 90, 100 mil for him? It wouldn't surprise me if this move goes down in the summer. And actually, when it first came out, Richarlison, 85 mil to Barcelona, I thought, really, they're mad. And then I thought about it. Richarlison, and I'm not talking as a winger, as a centre forward, has all the tools to be one of the best centre forwards in the world. He's quick, He's skillful.
Yeah.
Since he's been training with Duncan Ferguson, he's very good in the air. In a better team, he could score a lot of goals.
Yeah, there are several things. He's 22, which is great. As you say, I heard something today that he's been involved in the most kind of assists, goals for Everton. He's always involved in some way, shape or form. And as you say, when we moved, kind of first thought about it when he moved from Watford to Everton, too high. I thought it was too high.
Yeah, 50 million.
But he's proved that he's good enough.
Yeah.
And I know 85 is high, but as you say, it's going to get higher. Especially if he has a good sort of 4 or 5 months. He's not going to go now. Because if that came in on the 2nd of January, they would have taken it. 100%. I would have taken it.
Yeah, because then they've got some time.
Exactly. 85 million. You could have got
they still would have had St. Tosson in the team to be a fullback just in the meantime.
Cavalier's playing well.
Yeah, but honestly, I look at Richarlison right now and I look at him and I think in a team like Barcelona, and the thing is, he could adapt the style of Barcelona a little bit. Like we think of Barcelona as the Luis Suarez's, the Messi.
That's got to change soon.
Which is this little nippy team that pass it around. And don't get me wrong, Richarlison has the ball skills.
Yeah, 100%.
Growing up in Brazil to do the little nippy bits, to pass it around, to do all of that. Yeah. But he has that other option as well that if the going gets tough and it's a little bit tricky, he's very, very good in the air.
Man. Yeah,
he's very good. He can do both. He could be the complete centre forward. He could be what Ronaldo's doing at Juventus, but not as good as Ronaldo. No, I'm not going to say he's going to win 5-6 Ballon d'Ors. I'm just saying if you look at the raw attributes of this player, he could be a top number 9.
Oh, 100%. I think he's very, very, very underrated. And I think he'll prove it over time. And I'm pleased that a club like Barcelona would take a chance. It's a lot of money, but you get it out of him.
I think you would, and he could be there for 8 years.
Exactly. And Suarez is at the back end of his career. Messi again. Griezmann
moving to midfield,
play up front. He plays off the side,
and it's not worked out as well. And Richarlison, he wouldn't go straight into the starting lineup, but I guarantee you, in a year, in 18 months, he would have worked his way into the starting
100%.
lineup.
And it sounded crazy when I saw it pop up on my phone and went, 85 million?
Yeah, but then I thought about it.
Yeah, you look at it and go, that's a very, very good investment. There's 10 years there you could have with someone who might absolutely blossom and have an absolute blinder.
And it could go wrong. We could be proved wrong. Absolutely, it happens a lot of the time. But I'm looking at it and I'm saying, I just don't see it happening. I just don't. And a lot of his goals this season have been headers. He's just turning into an all-round centre forward.
I like him. And it might happen in the summer. I hope it does, because I think he deserves it.
Score prediction: Watford Everton.
I want it to be a home win. 1-0.
I'm thinking 1-1. I think this will be a draw, but Watford need to win.
Yeah, Watford needs to win, agreed.
Well, another team that needs to win is West Ham, as did Brighton actually. Brighton are only 3 points above the relegation zone.
West Ham are an absolute shocker.
They lost at home to West Brom in the FA Cup.
And they played quite a full-strength side as well.
Mark Noble came out
Yeah.
and said that it wasn't good enough.
No.
He said he shouldn't be coming on at half-time. He's 33, he's got 15 years in his legs. These are games he's meant to have a rest on. They just popped him on the bench just in case, and he was livid. He said he got angry, and I like that passion from Mark Noble, and I like his honesty as well as the club captain to come in and say, today we were poor. I'm a West Ham fan first and foremost. We were really, really bad. I said at half-time, there's no way me at 33 years of age should be coming on at half-time in an FA Cup tie to a Championship side to try and rescue things.
Oh, agree. I 100% agree. They are in dire straits at the moment. And if I had a chance 2 weeks ago to go, do you know what? West Ham are in trouble. They are in massive trouble.
They're in huge trouble.
They're only going one way. The fans are
they've turned.
Fans have turned. Like I thought it was booing for Lanzini last night when he came off because he didn't play very well. It's just things like that. The stadium's not worked. They haven't bought. Well, they bought well, but the players aren't what they need.
Yeah. I asked Ken on Love Sport. We had him on. This shirt was given by him. The guy used to do the bubbles at the London Stadium and at Upton Park at the Berlin Ground before that. I asked him why it feels like it's the most toxic atmosphere I can ever remember at West Ham. And this is considering they've been relegated twice from the Premier League, but I've never felt the atmosphere like this. Broken promises from the owners. They went into this new stadium, they were meant to invest, they were meant to move up the table, they have got all their hopes up, they've got all this excitement about it.
Yeah.
Every promise has been broken, and it's looking increasingly like they could be dragged into the Championship. Now, West Ham fans are already talking as if they're down. They're not even in the relegation zone at this point. I know it's only goal difference, but it's dire, it's not over. And David Moyes is a good manager to keep you up.
The problem is their fixture list and sort of the coming 4 or 5 games is absolutely horrific. And the problem is, if you get through that and go, oh, we are slap bang in it, I don't think they've got the fight or the players. Like, no offence, Fornals, Anderson,
Fornals, you thought was a great signing.
I love Fornals, but he's not suited to West Ham. They're not fighters. They're all prima donnas who would look great in a City or an Arsenal shirt, or a bit more kind of...
even an Everton shirt.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. There's too many players there who will not take the responsibility. Apart from Noble, maybe Rice.
Declan Rice is trying his best.
Apart from that, you are struggling.
Declan Rice's England spot is at risk because of poor players around him.
Terrible, yeah. I think he's been awful.
But he's not He's not that type of midfielder. He's meant to run a game. He's meant to be the holding midfielder with the good players around him.
Okay.
And he's not got that. He's got Mark Noble next to him, who's effectively the same thing.
They brought in a bloke called Souček, who's Czech. Sorry, he's come from Sparta Prague. No idea what to expect. Spent a lot of money on him. By the sounds of it, Moyes wasn't particularly pleased he came in.
Right. That's not great.
I think that's probably a owner-driven transfer.
Which is the problem with West Ham. They're not happy with their owners at all. Golden Sullivan not doing very well. As for Brighton, we've been singing Graham Potter's praises this season, but they're slap banging in it as well. They're only 3 points above the relegation zone.
This is a huge game.
All of a sudden, they look like they could be dragged right into it, especially if a team like Bournemouth, you're saying, think will do enough. Watford are looking like they're getting better. Aston Villa are picking up wins here and there.
Yeah,
Brighton are the team getting dragged into it. Brighton lost to Bournemouth, who have been awful recently.
And lost quite convincingly as well. Was it 3-1 in the end?
It was terrible for
I think Ramsdale had an absolute blinder in the first half, but even so, that's not a good result. I think they're going to win. I really do. I think Moyes is going to be under massive pressure.
This is huge.
This is a massive game because the problem is it's toxic already, and the game hasn't even kicked off yet. And if they go behind, oh my God, it's going to kick off.
Yeah.
I think Brighton are going to win 2-1. And that will cause absolute carnage because I like David Moyes.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the right.
I don't think the fans are blaming Moyes though.
No,
I think they're blaming Golden Sullivan.
Yeah, 100%.
I agree. I'm going to go 1-0 Brighton win. I think they'll get the job. I think they'll nick it.
I think this will be absolutely damning for West Ham because the next sort of 4 or 5 they're not going to get any of them.
5:30 kickoff, Man United hosting Wolves. Man United haven't done very well against Wolves recently, but they've had a very good week. I know it was only Tranmere, but it was on a terrible pitch, and they got some goals from Maguire, Lingard, Jones.
Dalot.
Great goals. Dalot scored. They played well. They got the goals. 6-0, good win. And then they went, I know they were knocked out of the Carabao Cup, but they beat Man City at the Etihad for the second time this season. And we finally got to see the feisty side of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The words I think he used for Lingard were "one more time and you're effing off." And it got caught on camera. And I feel like that was something that a lot of people needed to see because Solskjaer's been touted as this guy who's too nice. I think that side of him coming out a little bit more is a good thing.
Was that in regards to Jesse Lingard?
It was Lingard giving the ball away, yeah. It was Lingard giving the ball away, but he said after that Lingard played a bit better, and you can't fault that.
Lingard's terrible. He should be playing Man United.
Great win, yeah. And Matic is playing well. Where's that come from?
Yeah, and they've also got Bruno Fernandes has just been agreed and signed, sealed, and delivered.
Is it just me or is Bruno Fernandes a very sexy name?
Oh, he's also a beautiful man.
I think about it, and you just think, hello, I'm Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, I really, really hope he hits the ground running.
I don't, because I don't want Man United to finish.
No, nor do I, but I hope for his own career that he hits the ground running because I really like him.
Yeah.
And they're going through the stats today. It's like 1 in 2 goals. It's great, but it's a different kettle of fish. Probably
the three at the back worked with Luke Shaw playing almost as a centre half with Brandon
Williams.
Williams.
That would work because he's quite overweight and it works quite nicely.
He's not
Brandon Williams.
He's not overweight. He's just like heavily built. He's a bit like Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney is not
stocky.
Yeah, he's just a stocky bloke.
And I also think Brandon Williams is going to have a blinder in the next couple of months as well.
Interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think as a United fan, I look at it and go, "Are we going to do any more business? There's got to be one more."
I'm not sure. They're linked with Solomon Rondon to fill the gap up front. I don't hate that.
With who is it? Silimani. That's a terrible sign.
Yeah. It's a stopgap. They're all stopgap signings.
They are. There's no one permanent. You go, that's a really good sign.
They struggle against Wolves. I actually think playing Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams might be a good idea because that could help to nullify Adama Traore's threat.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't hate that system.
Yeah, I think Wolves might be better suited away from home. Obviously, we've seen a lot of FA Cup ties with these two, and they've been absolutely awful. The last 2 games have been awful, mate.
Yeah.
Awful. And I don't expect much more, to be honest. I think it's going to be 0-0.
I do as well.
Yeah,
that's the
it's
score
going to
prediction
be awful.
done. 0-0. Burnley Arsenal on Sunday at 2:30. Now, this is the type of game that Arsenal could very much struggle in. You bought a new centre half. Mari, isn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting because this. Okay, so my point on Mari.
Yeah.
Apparently, in the Club World Cup, he had Mo Salah in the back of his pocket. He played really well. Again, for a Brazilian centre back, they're almost more adept at playing against the quick, skillful, tricky wingers. Like you think about someone like Joelinton, who's a big Brazilian striker, but can't put his body around.
Yeah.
The games against Burnley are where his confidence could get knocked in the Premier League and he could struggle in the Premier League if he comes straight into the side.
I firstly don't think he will. And then I'm going to say, I think it's a great signing. It's a left-footed centre-half. We need one. He's massive as well.
Yeah.
He's a good athlete, can play out from the back. He's been at the Man City youth team, I think. So
but he didn't make the grade at Man City.
No, but I think they missed a trick because I think he's got everything to be a decent centre-half.
We'll see if he's got the fight.
Agreed. We'll see what happens.
Look at Gabriel. Gabriel did okay, but he wasn't. But he just couldn't kick on.
No, agreed. And I don't think he'll play against Burnley. I think we'll probably nurture him into a home game where we'll go that way. But I think it's a good start. I think Cedric coming as well, which is highly likely.
Cedric looks like it's going to be a good signing.
I think it's great.
It's good for 2 reasons. One, it's great backup. It's great backup for Bellerin, and to start a lot of games, Bellerin can't keep himself fit.
No.
2, it means that Ainsley Maitland-Niles can finally move into his more natural position in the centre midfield.
Do you think he will?
I think that he'll play. I don't think he'll start, but I think he'll start. But I think he'll get into the rotation. I think there was a game against Man United a few years ago where he absolutely bossed the midfield as a young player.
I really like him, but he's one of those players who's going to be wasted because we just cannot figure out where to play him.
End up at
and
Palace.
He won't be given the chance. Like I always remember the Ox at Arsenal. We could never find where he should be playing.
The Ox was more of a talent though.
Exactly, and we never got a position for him. And he
went to Liverpool and immediately found it.
Exactly, and it's another thing where I look at it and go, I don't think he'll ever find his niche, and I think he'll go somewhere else and have a blinder.
Yeah, we'll see.
I want him to do that because I think he's great. It'll be interesting. But
I think he might. I think there'll be a game where you've had a few injuries or a cup game where he'll have to come into the midfield and he'll play really, really well.
Yeah, agreed. I really like him. I think he's athletic. He's a good player. We'll see.
Score prediction, please.